Hey guys, welcome back to
T
Hoops. And today we're going through one realistic trade for every Eastern Conference team.
We're allowed to trade with each other's teams. You can do 3 team trades, and each team/player can be involved within multiple trades. To start with, I have the 76ers.
Alright. They've got an interesting off-season coming up, so I'm ready to hear this.
76ers receive Jimmy Butler and Duncan Robinson. And the Heat receive Tobias Harris, Paul Reed, Buddy Hield, Nicholas Batum, and 2 second-round picks.
Okay, I like it.
As we said in one of our shorts, or in our other podcast, they really need that star player.
Yeah, that third star next to Embiid and Maxey.
Okay, the reason I have Jimmy Butler going to the Sixers is because they are looking for that star player, as we said back in our recent pod. Having Jimmy Butler on the Sixers would really boost their chances at making the playoffs because the scoring and the defense he can bring to that team.
For sure.
They don't have a lot, but having 2 star players, potentially 3 in the future with Maxey, just for that next 2 years to try and win a championship. If Embiid can get past that first round, then that's what they're hoping for.
I do understand people saying that Jimmy Butler holds grudges and he won't go back to Philly. I actually disagree with that because he's actually got a good relationship with Embiid.
Yeah.
And at this point in his career, he wants to win. He's been to 2 finals. To both of them, he's carried his team. So he knows
the
how
only reason he's left was the Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a new coach. They've got. He's always had a good relationship with Embiid.
They are also bringing in the big contract of Duncan Robinson, but the shooting that he could provide off the bench would really boost them because they don't have heaps once again. So bringing in 2 key players like that could really help them. For the Heat, they are receiving Tobias Harris, Paul Reed, Buddy Hield, and Nicholas Batum. Paul Reed and Buddy Hield, I think they could really fit in because the Heat are doing really good at developing their players.
Yeah.
They are taking the big contract of Tobias Harris. I think they either keep him for the season and he'll just be mid, or they'll trade him immediately to a different team, which is contending probably.
Yeah.
The other player they get is Nicholas Batum. He's just probably going to stay. He's going to be like a Kevin Love. He's just going to average 8 points, 5 rebounds. He's just going to be there, and he's going to help them, but they're just not going to make a bigger impact next season. They do get 2 seconds, but that won't go towards a lot.
Yeah.
So more Sixers that trade. Alright, on to you.
Yeah. And they do have the threat of Jimmy leaving in free agency anyway soon. Alright, my trade, I've got the Brooklyn Nets, an interesting team. We've said very mid. So, do they go, because they're kind of in the middle, do they try and contend or they just rebuild? I've got them trading Cameron Johnson, Dennis Schroeder, Cam Thomas, and 2 firsts to the Atlanta Hawks for Trae Young. It's huge.
What?
But look, Trae Young paired with Mikal, Claxton, that's good. That's a young core right there. Right. So Cameron Johnson, he's a good contributor.
Yeah.
Schroeder's alright. The big one is Cam Thomas for me. I think he's still underappreciated by the Nets. I mean, he was just dropping 40 bombs throughout the season, and he's still not even starting. They're just playing him off the bench. So that's exciting for the Hawks.
When you do look at that Hawks team though, do you see them getting rid of everyone, or there's also another option where they could keep Young, keep Murray, and also if they get Sarr, that could make a playing team.
I do think that team's ceiling is just the play-in, or maybe even the 7th seed.
Yeah.
I think what they should do is go full rebuild. Trade Trae and DeJounte. Start with Alex Sarr. They've got young stud Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
And in this trade, they could get Cam Thomas and firsts. So.
Yeah.
I think that's a win-win for what both teams are wanting to do.
Definitely the shooting the Hawks acquire, the more offense that they get from this trade really helps too. Alright.
Yeah. Your trade?
I have the Milwaukee Bucks, and for this trade, it's not really more meant for them, it's more meant for the other team, which is the Rockets. I have the Bucks receiving Steven Adams, Jeff Green, and Jock Landale, and a first for Chris Middleton and Marjon Beauchamp.
Wow, okay.
I think this is where the Bucks are going to start losing some pieces and slowly dissolve, I guess you could say.
Especially with Middleton getting older.
Yeah. Middleton, as he is getting older, but he could really help mentor the Rockets and their young players.
And they do want to win now. He's a win now player.
And also bring that scoring and 3-point shooting off the bench. I think off the bench is what he'll end up playing. If he was to go there. But I think that's...
I do really like that.
Way. Yeah. And even though the Bucks are getting Steven Adams, Jeff Green, just a bunch of old players, there's not really... I know there's nothing really for them to mentor, but like the trade that they're doing right now is just they're losing their key pieces.
Yeah. And they do have like Middleton free agency soon, so
so might as well just get rid of him.
Next trade, I've got the Indiana Pacers. They made the conference finals this year, so I do think they would want to, push, continuing to improve. So I've got them trading with the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh, I can see
Paul George back to Indiana. I love this.
Some hot start here.
But so if you're asking what the Clippers get back, right?
Yeah.
They get a massive haul. They get Benedict Mathurin, T.J. McConnell, Naismith, and Turner. Now, I do think those are 4 great role players. But I think that's needed for the Clippers to say yes, right? Because losing Paul George, they're going to fall behind. They're wanting to push now.
Because I see a big win for both sides here. The Pacers, this helps them contend, get to that contending team.
Genuine contender. I mean, Halliburton, Paul George, and Siakam, that's good. And then, I mean, the Clippers.
And then you look at the Clippers, they get all these young pieces, which... And it's not even that. It's the fact that Paul George is on his last year of his contract. So if they're trading him away and then just getting all these young pieces back, I know the Pacers will sign him back, but they're just getting these young pieces back. This really helps.
Paul George would love going back to Indiana.
Yeah.
He would love that, so he would for sure re-sign. The Clippers get, Benedict Mathurin. He's a really good young player.
So much potential.
T.J. McConnell, I think one of the most underrated players in the league. He's
top
great.
3. Yeah.
Naismith, incredible defender.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, and then Turner. He's still probably the best.
Oh, they get Miles Turner too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be a trade and a half if that goes.
They're getting a haul. So.
But.
Yeah.
It could really work out. They might have to get another center then, because what do they have? Jalen Smith off the bench. That will probably.
They could play.
He can still develop,
but
you probably have to get because Siakam did play center on the Raptors team.
Yeah.
So definitely could work, but maybe should try to go get a center, or even if they can get a center back in that trade too, like Zubac or Plumlee off the bench.
Yeah.
All right. The first 3-team trade.
All 3-teamer.
This is the Chicago Bulls, the Indiana Pacers, and the Philadelphia 76ers. Indiana receive DeMar DeRozan, and 76ers receive Zach LaVine. The Bulls receive Aaron Naismith, Kyle Lowry, Jalen Smith, Paul Reed, and 3 firsts.
Oh, okay. I like this.
This helps every team. I mean, besides the Bulls, they're ready to they're on
rebuild.
Yeah.
Fully rebuild.
You have to do it.
3 firsts? Yeah,
this is
that's
the trade.
Good. That's good assets.
Okay. Indiana getting DeMar DeRozan, he can really help them. That's
third scorer.
Just like a Paul George. I know Paul George is better, but if Indiana can get DeMar, that's another third. Yeah, that's a third scorer. They still have
offense as well. That team offense is through the roof this season.
You're not giving up your pieces off the bench to Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell. So getting that would really boost their chances at contending once again. The 76ers receiving Zach LaVine. This guy has to be a bench player. He has gotten far enough into his career where I think he's a bench player now. He has got a huge contract, but I think the scoring he can bring. What does he average, 23 or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
On the Bulls.
He is being massively underrated kind of because his value is so low. No one wants him, he's in the rumors with the Pistons. I do think he could really help out a team Philly for scoring. And then still got a lot of scoring potential. Yeah.
And then the Bulls getting back Aaron Naismith, Kyle Lowry, Jalen Smith, and Paul Reed. The Bulls have some young players, so I guess Kyle Lowry and Aaron Naismith can help them out because they're getting older. I think Aaron Naismith is still 28, but he can still help. The biggest thing is probably the 3 first-round picks they're getting back.
Yeah.
Because if they're hitting this full set rebuild
Reset.
mode,
That's
these
what every fan wants, really.
These first-round picks will really help them out in the future, and I think that's really what makes this trade for them, and that's why they're going to do it. And I think this benefits Indiana and 76ers so much too, with mainly the scoring that it brings. So
all wins.
Just watch out to see if the Bulls
all around.
reset.
Alright, my next team, I've got the Toronto Raptors. Another team that's really kind of in a rebuild, developing quickly, and RJ Barrett. I've got them trading with the Warriors. They trade Bruce Brown and Jalen McDaniels, and they get Andrew Wiggins and Moses Moody.
Wow.
Because Wiggins, he's kind of fallen off a bit, but 2022 Wiggins still in there. He's still got potential. And they get Moses Moody, a former first rounder.
Late first round.
Yeah. So he's still got potential. And then the Warriors improve defensively, getting Bruce Brown.
Honestly, even Jalen McDaniels, he can defend.
He can.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Bruce Brown, we saw that finals run with the Nuggets. He can really help.
Yeah.
Defense and even scoring. I think he's now a bench player, but he can really slide in. And even if there's an injury or something, he's the perfect man to help.
Defense, it's really nice.
You could maybe other Warriors getting enough back. Do they need a pick or something in there? I don't know, but
they are getting.
Because Moses Moody still has a lot of potential. He's young, but I think that's.
I think the Warriors do want to win now.
Yeah.
So trading away Wiggins, he's just been so much worse.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever's going on with him.
Yeah.
To get a win now player with Bruce Brown. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Alright. Your next.
Clip that.
Your next East team.
Alright. I have the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Alright. Very interesting off season as well. I mean, probably the number 1 rumoured team out there, so yeah.
Although, I don't have them making a big trade here, getting rid of Mitchell.
Alright.
I'm keeping it short and simple. I think they're going to go get Simone Fontecchio from the Pistons. And at first, for Isaac Okoro, who still has a bit of potential and can fit into a young Pistons team, and a second, I think this is more towards the Cavs. They're getting their one small forward position is the one they need to improve. Yeah. The shooting Fontecchio can bring, we saw on the Jazz, he was really impactful. And now the Pistons, he was putting up a couple 20-point games, so he could really help their shooting on the sides, Mobley, Mitchell, and if they're keeping Garland. Which I think they'll keep those 4, in fact, because of Allen too.
Yeah. I do like that for the Pistons, getting Okoro.
Yeah.
Still potential, he was a first rounder as well, I think, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot lower tier trade. But,
but it can really help Cavs more so. Yeah.
Yeah.
To you?
Alright, next one, I've got the Washington Wizards. Now, another team that's in a full rebuild. I've actually got them trading with the Warriors, a win now team. I've got the Wizards trading Kyle Kuzma to the Warriors for Andrew Wiggins and Trace Jackson Davis.
Jackson?
Yeah, I know that might seem like a lot, but look, the Wizards have been hesitant to trade Kuzma. He is a bit of an underrated player, 20 plus points per game. So for the Warriors, I do think that's a win. You're taking a risk trading such a good young talent like Jackson Davis, but you're getting a win now player in Kuzma, which is what they want. Yeah. And to get win now players, you're gonna need to trade good players, right? So I just don't think the Warriors, outside of the young guys, have the assets to get Kuzma.
I definitely see the Wizards not seeing Kyle Kuzma as a great player. I know he's their star player because he's averaging 20, but I think him going to the Warriors could really help them out. And if Steph's having one final push, that's a great person to have.
A nice extra
brings shooting,
extra scorer.
Yeah.
I love this for the Wizards getting Trace Jackson Davis. I mean, we saw last year. He was awesome. He was so good.
He's definitely top 8 rookie this year, was he? Top 10?
Top 10.
What, second team, I think?
In a stacked rookie class.
He was good. Yeah.
He was great, yeah.
Alright. One of my worst trades, there's nothing much to it. It's the Celtics are receiving a first round pick and a second round pick, and the Nets are receiving Peyton Pritchard. I think the Celtics, they're going to contend for like the next 4 years.
Yes, they are.
I think Peyton Pritchard, he's
solid off the bench.
Yeah, but I think he can be better on a lower tier team. So that's why I have him going to the Nets. You did say that they could get Trae Young, so he might still be on the bench if they would get both, but
I like that for Brooklyn, getting a nice young player.
Definitely leans towards, that trade leans towards Brooklyn.
And with Brooklyn, obviously still trying to contend, those picks could probably be flipped for a better player.
And you've even seen when the Celtics, like, star players are out, like at the end of the season, he had like a 40-point game or something, 30 points. So he can really make an impact with the star players out. So if he goes to like Brooklyn and they're like missing, they don't really have a star player, so that's Bridges, I guess. So
they still kind of want to push to contend still, even though they're.
And I guess Boston, them getting like a 2029 or 2030 pick, first round pick, maybe helps them if they're gonna, in that very far future, rebuild. That could really help them.
Alright, my next, probably my lowest tier trade yet. I've got the Detroit Pistons. Full rebuild, obviously still. They're trading with the Grizzlies. They trade Jalen Duren, who actually has been really good, and Quentin Grimes to the Grizzlies for Zaire Williams, Jake LaRavia, and first round picks.
Nice.
I like this for the Grizzlies because they need a center, right? Like, who even is their center?
And they're contending next year. Yeah. And if they can get that center, like,
I really like the Grizzlies next year with Jar coming back, Bane, and then G.G. Jackson, Triple J. If they can land a center like Jalen Duren, that's really good.
Young too, like, that's he's getting boards too, like.
He was great.
Yeah.
Last year, and then the Pistons, they do this. Zaire Williams was great for the Grizzlies.
Still potential.
Still very young potential, and then Jake LaRavia, he had a few games towards the end of last season where he just went off. Like, great shooter.
He's still.
And then the first round picks. So
definitely. That's a good trade. Next trade I have the Hawks. Now, this could be my biggest one.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe.
There are a lot of rumours as well, so it'll be interesting to see.
So let's start with the Hawks here. As soon as I say the first five, you might see where this is going. The Hawks receive Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, Trey Jones, and 2 first-round picks.
Wow, that's a haul.
So you're getting a haul. The Spurs receive Trae Young.
Yeah, okay. I actually love that for the Hawks.
And the Spurs.
Fully rebuild. Oh, that's such a win-win.
That's big.
Devin Vassell, he's such a good young talent. So I really like that for the Hawks if they're going full rebuild, which we've said repeatedly they should do.
Yeah.
Like, Trey DeJounte and start, it'll be good, but you're not contending, so just reset. Get a young stud like Vassell, I really like that.
And keep getting these young players.
Jeremy Sohan, that's really good as well, and even Trey.
Like, as long as you don't make him a point guard, then you do, but because I do work out. Trey Jones still has great playmaking, and he was good with Wemby, but if even the Spurs, if they can get...
But for sure.
Playmaking was great. But even if the Spurs can get a better player like this, like Trae Young, which can very much help Wemby.
And Trae and Wemby, that's unstoppable.
That's different. Like,
Trae's one of the best, lobbers. Is that even a word? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, him passing to Wemby,
Yeah.
That's great.
Now, this one is actually surprisingly good. It's not, any good, high-level players, but it's the Miami Heat. It's another 3-team trade.
Alright.
The Heat are receiving Zeke Nnaji and Sam Hauser. The Nuggets are receiving Caleb Martin, and the Celtics are receiving Thomas Bryant. So all it is Sam Hauser and Thomas Bryant. They're swapping, and Caleb Martin and Zeke Nnaji are swapping. So of course, the Nuggets kind of win that one, and then the Heat kind of win the Celtics Heat one.
Wait, who gets Caleb Martin?
The Nuggets.
Okay.
Very confusing. So, anyway, the Heat are great at developing players.
Yeah.
And Sam Houser, you've seen the shooting he can provide.
Unbelievable shooting.
And you've seen Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, all these shooters they have developed. So I think Sam Houser could really fit well in as a bench player, even in the future, as a starter if Jimmy's to leave. Zeke Nnaji too, the Heat are looking for a backup center. Maybe if they develop him too.
That's really the only player I've seen that Denver's willing to trade.
Yeah, they really want to keep that.
Yeah, so getting Caleb Martin off the bench for Denver, that's huge.
So that is.
Caleb Martin was huge for the Heat.
There is 2 contending teams in that trade, but there's not a lot getting traded away. It just helps each team slightly, I guess. So even the Celtics trying to give up one of their young people, which they could progress more, but getting a older person like Thomas Bryant could really help them on the bench for this championship run they're trying to do over the next 4 years, trying to win as many as they can.
Yeah.
The Hornets is my next one. Now this is very bad, and I don't have them giving up a lot here. It's the Hornets receive Chris Boucher and Archie Baji. This is awful. The Raptors receive Davis Bertans.
Oh boy.
And 2 seconds. Oh boy. Right.
So the Hornets, they're still in a big rebuild. They're still trying to develop Melo Ball, Brandon Miller. I mean, that duo is really nice.
There's a bar. You still have potential. There's nothing going on.
This is just
trade.
low tier. We doing every team. You're gonna get teams that probably even aren't gonna make a trade. So.
There's not much.
Bertans has a big contract.
Huge contract.
You get off the contract.
Yeah.
Such a win, I guess.
Yeah. Nothing much to it.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 second-round picks at the just get. Okay.
It could be Jokic. Okay. Moving on.
Anyway, the Knicks we're on to.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Knicks.
As I said, they are 1 piece away.
1 piece away
from a
championship. Alright.
You did have Andrew Wiggins and Moses Moody going to... Who was it before?
The Raptors.
Raptors. I have the exact same combination going to the Knicks.
Alright.
And I have the Warriors receiving Bogdanovich, a first and 2 seconds.
Right.
And that's how much I see Moses Moody developing. And I think he can really be a great defender and 3-and-D player.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins is the piece though, which is going to help out the Knicks.
2022 Wiggins in that Warriors finals run.
And if he can get to that
he's a difference maker.
Yeah, for sure. If he can get to that again, that will really...
Yeah.
He'd be on the bench for the Knicks, but that scoring that he can bring, if he's going back to his high level like he did in 2022, then that could really help him out.
Huge. Yeah.
Last one for the East, I have the Magic.
The Magic, okay.
Let's start with the Pelicans. So, the Pelicans are receiving Wendell Carter, Anthony Black, and a first.
Wow, okay. Anthony Black.
And Magic are receiving Herb Jones, Larry Nance Jr., and a second-round pick.
Alright. That's huge.
I think, if you look at the Pelicans here, I haven't got him in the trade, but if Jonas Valanciunas is leaving, I feel like Wendell Carter will
he's a good young
fit well there.
Young centre. That's good.
Also getting Anthony Black, which had some issues in Orlando, but
still so much potential.
So much potential
last year.
And getting a first-round pick. They're getting, I wouldn't say a haul, but they're getting good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
And the Magic here, it's a win-win trade. They're getting Herbert Jones.
That's huge. The Magic are already so good defensively.
Imagine Herb Jones and Jalen Suggs. That's just...
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. That's scary.
And that's offense too. That's still heaps of offense. Larry Nance Jr. is still a great role player to have off the bench. Can shoot,
solid.
can dunk, can do it all as an average. And then the second pick they get to, and that's not much, but that's a trade. It's a win-win trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it for this.
Tune in to next week where we post one trade for every Western Conference team. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. See you next time, guys.